Welcome back to another episode of Sean Ned's Do Baseball. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ed.
And we are bringing you baseball history.
That's right. We are a bi-weekly baseball history podcast where the story catcher doesn't know what the story pitcher is on the mound throwing them. And today it is a heater.
It's a heater.
I mean, not really from me. It's just a fucking heater. It's boiling outside.
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot out. It's hot. Yeah,
Got the AC off in here.
Fuck. It's going to be a hot one.
It's going to be a hot one.
Either way, well, we sweat our butts off recording this. Where can people find us on the internet, Edsy?
They can find us on Twitter at Doing Baseball and on Instagram and TikTok at Doing.Baseball. And I'm on Twitter, X.com, whatever you're calling it these days, at Eds Do Baseball.
And I'm at Sean Do Baseball. And wherever you're listening to us, however you're listening to us, hit that follow button, give us a review, give us a like, tell your friends, all of that stuff helps the pod, and we appreciate it very much. So thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, let me echo that as well. Thank you very much for listening.
And thanks to our sponsor, Two Loons. Normally I crack one at this time, but it was so gosh darn hot out, I just already have one cracked. So check out Two Loons, Two Loons Lager, Two Loons IPA. You can find them across Ontario at LCBOs, as well as at your local establishment. Beer festivals, if you're hitting up beer festivals, look for the Two Loons tent. They got some wicked collaborations going on, and soon you'll be able to go to Two Loons in Toronto and buy yourself beer.
Yeah, yeah.
Good beer.
And when you buy that good beer, Sean, please be of legal drinking age and enjoy responsibly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we've made it to this point. We haven't melted.
No, so far so good.
So far so good. What do you got for me? I'm ready to throw down the one.
Okay, yeah, throwing the one down. And, okay, well, as I said before we kind of got started there, this story, when I started working on it, I was trying to focus on one particular event.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't really, get the length of the story that I wanted to with just focusing on that one event. So it kind of evolved into a bio of the player involved. But the event in question's kind of gone a little viral lately. I've seen it on the internet a little bit.
Okay.
And actually, I want to give out a shout out to our friend Mike Mueller.
Okay.
Who was the one that actually pointed it out to me. And
Weird.
I was like, that would make a good story. So I looked into it. And anyway, like I say, it's a bio, but that event's going to come up. But maybe as I start here, maybe I'll start with a bit of foreshadowing maybe.
Okay.
So before we get into the meat of the story here, Sean, I'll hint at the inspiration for the story, as I say here, and by asking you, do you know what the odds of catching a foul ball at a baseball game is? You did the story on death at the ballpark, so I wondered if maybe you had researched into that a little bit. Maybe you might.
I can guess.
Ballpark it. No pun intended.
I mean, honestly, it's probably. I mean, you got to think that you can eliminate some areas, because some areas are foul. If you're saying specifically foul balls, or are you talking home runs as well?
Foul ball.
Foul ball. That's really difficult to. But I would say probably about maybe 1 in 10,000 at any certain day, just because there's probably about 10,000 seats within a foul ball vicinity, and. Maybe more than that, because there's more foul balls per game, but it's random as well. Some foul balls go into the stands, some foul balls bounce back, some foul balls are, in the field of play.
There are many factors.
There's so many factors.
So I will admit that I don't know all of the factors that foul balls with a Z,
yes,
I guess is some kind of research organization, has figured out. They say, anyway, that the odds of catching a foul ball at a baseball game are slim to none.
Really?
Which is 1 in 835, to be exact.
That sounds like a solid number.
Yeah.
That sounds like a solid number.
There's multiple foul balls a game.
Yeah, and as
You
I say,
know?
there's probably 10,000 seats in the vicinity that would get high traffic foul
Mm-hmm.
balls
Mm-hmm.
with a Z, according to this place doing the research.
Yes, and I assume this is MLB games because like there'd be much less seats at at
Yeah,
like a minor league game.
but also there would be much less info available, I'm assuming, as
true.
well. So yeah, so they're saying 1 in 835.
Yeah, 1 in 835.
That's not bad. That's pretty low. So we're talking like less, like around like 0.12%.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I guess.
yeah, okay. See, now you asked me to do math.
Yeah.
I'm doing math.
Yeah. So anyway, we're digressing a bit. We're digressing a bit. Today, Sean, we're going to talk about one Don Richard Ashburn,
Okay.
who was born March 19th, 1927, in Tilden, Nebraska.
Tilden.
Tilden. You ever been to Tilden?
No, it sounds like a horrible place, but it's probably nice if you've never been anywhere else.
Yeah, it sounds like not a lot going on there. It's Nebraska. Anyway, Don was a son of the plains. He was one half of a pair of identical twins alongside his sister Donna.
Ah,
Dawn and Donna.
what the fuck's wrong with this family? What was his twin called? Oh, his twin was Donna?
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
he was Don.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Arrested. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. The Ashburns Sean is sending. So he was born to his parents Neil and Genevieve Ashburn,
Uh-huh.
and the latter was affectionately known as Tootie.
Classic Tootie.
Yeah. In the Ashburn household, nicknames were common, obviously. This is something I personally, Sean, can get behind. As you know, I was born and raised in a town where it's almost strange not to have a nickname.
Yeah, everybody's
know.
got a nickname.
I mean, hence
Edsy.
Edsy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone called the boy by his middle name, Richie,
Okay.
which isn't
That's
really a nickname, but
not
anyway,
a nickname.
This was to distinguish him from his sister, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing they nicknamed Donna Dawn, so they were like,
We call her Rich S.
yeah. Okay, so their mother Genevieve earned her moniker of Tootie because she was tiny at her birth, apparently.
But she was flatulent.
yeah. That'd be much better. That'd be much funnier. Okay, so that's just a little quick
She's just
aside.
tiny. They're like, you little Tootie.
Little Tootie. Yeah,
Okay.
Little Tootski.
Yeah,
So,
there's
anyway.
not much going on there in Nebraska.
No. They got nicknames for entertainment. So, anyway, Neil Ashburn was a monument maker and a blacksmith who played some semi-pro baseball as a weekend warrior. And according to Neil's brother Bob, he made more money playing baseball than at his trades.
Oh,
Most of the time, there was only enough money to barely keep the family fed.
all right. Well, there's some success there.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not hungry.
It's the Depression.
It is the
It's
Depression.
the 30s when
Yeah,
the kids are young, anyway.
Yeah.
So Ashburn, Richie, tried to play all the sports except football, which his father had banned because of the injury possibility. Right?
Nah, son.
He had a vision for his son. Right?
We're barely scraping by. You're not playing football.
Yeah.
If you get hurt, we're just gonna have to leave you on the curb.
Yeah. I mean, that is a possible logic to it as well. Richie gravitated towards basketball and, of course, baseball. He's a pretty tall guy, apparently.
Okay.
He began playing baseball in 1935 as an 8-year-old in the Tilden Midget Baseball League. And even early on, his father tried to influence Ashburn's career trajectory. At his father's suggestion, he was a catcher. Neil figured this would be the position that one could crack a major league roster the fastest.
There you go. As you got your 8-year-old, you really gotta think ahead about their future.
That's right. You gotta plan for the future. You know.
Now, son, no pressure, but if the coach asks where you want to play,
Yeah.
and you don't become a catcher, you'll never make the big leagues.
Well, that's the implication. And not only, Sean, did he make his son play a certain position, he also taught him to bat from the other side of the plate. He taught him to bat left-handed.
That's totally normal
Yeah.
for
yeah,
me.
Yeah. He also learned to bat left-handed, so he would have a better jump to first base.
So he's not a switch hitter. He's just a left-handed batter.
I think so. Yes.
It's like, I bet right. No, you don't, son.
No, you don't. No, you're a lefty.
See, you're closer to first base this way, and as a catcher, you have to be the fastest guy on the field.
Okay, so the speed that I mentioned there
Okay.
would become Ashburn's trademark.
Okay.
Over the course of his career or life, whatever we're saying here. He played baseball and basketball for Tilden High School, but the baseball season was short, and his coach, Harold Mertz, suggested to Neil Ashburn that his boy needed more playing time, and Neil agreed. So Richie started to play American Legion baseball
Okay.
with the Neeli Junior Legion team,
Okay.
and he continued as a catcher. His teammates at first made fun of him a bit for his size. I guess he was small when he was young. I think eventually he grew into a pretty tall guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're saying he's tall, but now you're saying he's small.
Yeah, hold on.
You're all over the place.
Let me just quickly look up Ashburn's grown man size.
He's grown man size.
If that's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, he was 5'10", so that's not that big. But
yeah, for a kid of the Depression, that's not small.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's a kid at this time, so who knows what size he is.
So
anyway,
maybe, yeah.
We're getting sidetracked here.
But either way, his teammates are dicks.
Yeah, his teammates are making fun of him, but he was a great catcher, and he eventually won them over.
Mm-hmm.
And he also played a bit of outfield with the Legion team.
Okay.
And his coach, Harold Cole, noticed that he lacked a strong throwing arm, but Cole was able to coach Ashburn to compensate for this by charging the balls in the outfield and throwing on the run.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
That's right. So baseball scouts quickly recognized Ashburn's talent and began following him. Mm-hmm. And in 1943, he signed a contract with Cleveland when he was 16 years old.
Damn.
He hits really well. Unfortunately for Richie, though, the contract was nullified by Mountain Landis because the rules then prohibited teams from signing players who were still in high school.
Well, just drop out. I thought you were going to say they had to be at least 18. Doesn't say this is an Airbud situation we got going on right now.
That is true. That would be a loophole, I guess, in theory.
Drop out of high school. Drop out of high school. You don't need to go to high school. You're 16. You can just leave.
You're okay at catching.
Yeah.
So come on down. Anyway, he doesn't do that.
Okay.
So in 1944, at the age of 17, Richie gets selected as a catcher to play in this American Legion All-Star game.
Cool.
At the Polo Grounds.
Ooh.
That was organized by Esquire magazine for some reason.
Weird. But, I mean, a kid from Nebraska playing at the Polo Grounds?
Yeah,
damn.
I know. He was Nebraska's representative on the West team. So I assume it was like, they split it.
Yeah, they had a person or two from every state.
Yes. Like I say, I didn't really look into it too much, but it was interesting to me that a magazine was organizing an all-star game.
Magazines used to be important, Nancy.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
any of our younger listeners out there, they used to have clout.
Yeah, that's true. So as I said, he was Nebraska's rep on the West team because it was an East and West matchup, and because of his size and quality of play, he was advised by Connie Mack to play another position.
It's like you just
like, you're not a good catcher, man.
And you're fast.
I mean, he made it on the All-Star team, but anyway, I guess.
Also, it doesn't sound like he has a good arm. You're a catcher, like
that's
you
true.
can't throw on the run as a catcher.
That's true. Yeah. So the same year, 1944, he signed with the Cubs to play for their Nashville team, their Nashville farm team. But his contract was again nullified by Landis because of an illegal clause that would have paid Ashburn if the Nashville franchise was sold while he was playing there.
Fucking Landis.
Yeah, I know.
So, but why don't they just sign a new contract without that clause?
I don't know. They
like, nah, Mountain Landis told us you need to leave.
Yeah. So, anyway, that gets nullified, and the two nullifications left a poor taste in Ashburn's mouth. And he questioned the integrity of Major League Baseball.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of would. You'd be like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, the first one, okay.
Yeah.
But the second one, it's like, well, why? Like, why can't they put whatever they want in my contract? Like,
yeah, it's up to them. If I'm gonna go and play for this team and they get sold, shouldn't I be compensated in some way? That's a perfectly legit. Anyways, it's just Mountain Landis being like, that gives the player too much right.
Yeah. So Richie goes to college.
Okay.
Even though 13 of the 16 major league clubs had shown interest in his services, and he spent one semester at Norfolk Junior College before the Phillies convinced the family that they were on the level, and Neil approved Richie's signing with them.
Okay.
Delighted by Ashburn's change of heart, Phillies scout Ed Krajnik said, quote, "Something tells me this is about the most important deal I ever made."
Okay.
Okay.
It's just it's like he's the Mickey Mantle. Everyone will be saying his name.
Yeah. Richie Ashburn. So Richie Ashburn reported to the Utica Blue Sox of Class A Eastern League in 1945, and on one occasion he amazed everyone with his blazing speed when he beat the batter to first base and took the throw for a putout. Remember, he's still a catcher.
What the fuck?
So he was the catcher, and like it obviously drew the runner.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the pitcher did not run to first base.
But the catcher
and
did.
He outran the batter.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yes. So obviously that's like insanely impressive.
Yes.
So the manager, Eddie Sawyer, immediately converted the speedster Ashburn to center field.
I figured this was going to happen. I'm like, he can't be a catcher very long.
No. And during his time in Utica, the players started calling Ashburn Whitey.
Okay.
Because of his light blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
And this nickname would stick with him for the rest of his life. So there you go. He gets a nickname. Finally gets a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So early in the season, 1945, I guess, Ashburn was drafted by the U.S. Army.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately for Richie, they allowed him to finish the season. And the Blue Sox won the Eastern League pennant while Ashburn led the team in batting with a .312 average.
Okay.
In August, the Blue Sox held a Richie Ashburn Day, and fans passed the hat around and collected $357 for him.
Why?
Because he's got drafted.
Yeah, everyone's going to war.
Well, he's on their team, and they like him.
I thought that was like, wait, like what? I mean, I guess, but like, sure. But he's getting paid. It's not like you get drafted and you don't get paid to go. I mean, the financial compensation is just weird to me.
Anyway, they did that.
They passed a hat around for him.
They got him $357, an amount that he likened to $1 million.
No, that's just bad math, Richie.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even close. So the Army sent Ashburn to Alaska for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I here? And he missed the 1946 season. He described his year in Alaska, quote, "Sending a ball player to Alaska was like sending a dog sledder to the Sahara Desert."
Okay.
But he doesn't have any active service there, really.
No.
So
I'm sure it was a pretty cushy assignment.
Yeah. So Ashburn returned to the Blue Sox in 1947, winning another Eastern League title. And Ashburn set a league record for the most hits in a season with 191 in only 137 games.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I thought that number was going to start with a 2, but yeah, that's pretty
137 games.
I know, that's what I mean. It's a hit and a half a game. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah. After his successful season, he went back to school for a second semester at Norfolk Junior College, where he met his future wife, Herbie Cox.
Oh, dear.
What?
Well, I mean, his family would just have a field day with that one.
Oh, yeah.
This is Herberta.
Yeah.
Herberta Cox. Oh, we're going to call her Coxie. No, Herbie.
Yeah. That's true. They'd have tons of options there. Birdie.
Donna, what do you think?
Yeah.
They call me Richie now.
I'm Whitey now. So after the tremendous showing in Utica the season before, Ashburn cracked the Phillies roster in 1948 and made the team as a 21-year-old rookie and opened the season as the starting left fielder. He replaced veteran and NL batting champ Harry the Hat Walker as the team's leadoff hitter. After the 12 games in left, he replaced Walker as the regular center fielder. He electrified crowds at Shibe Park with his hitting, speed, and outfield play. After a doubleheader with the Cubs in Chicago on June 5th, Ashburn was on a 23-game hitting streak and sporting a .380 average, A local sports writer said, quote, Richie Ashburn is the hottest thing to hit this town since the Great Chicago Blaze.
Remember that fire that killed a bunch of people?
That's what Richie Ashburn's like. He's going to murder us all. Ashburn was chosen to the National League All-Star team, the only rookie to be given the honor. And in the game at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, he hit 2 singles, stole the only base in the game, scored one of the National League runs, and was named the outstanding player on the losing side.
Wow.
That's a weird award, but anyway, I guess they did that at
The
one
best
point.
loser.
Yeah.
That's a good award.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like most honest golfer at a golf tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ted Williams bestowed Ashburn with another nickname, Putt-Putt. Because as Ashburn explained later, quote, I ran as if I had an outboard motor in the seat of my pants.
I had a pickle in my butt. I'm not going to lie. Oh, God. Okay.
So, but not long after the Midsummer Classic, Ashburn's season ended in August when he was sidelined with a broken finger. He started a total of 101 games in center field and 13 games in left field and finished the season with a .333 batting average.
Okay.
The Sporting News named him its Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
And he finished third behind Al Dark and Gene Bearden in MLB voting.
Okay.
Whitey slumped a bit in 1949, finishing with a .284 average, but he continued to excel in the field, setting a major league record for outfielders with 514 putouts. Ashburn tied the knot with Herbie Cox.
Yep.
Herbie Ashburn now.
Yep.
Tied the knot with Herberta in the off-season and returned to the Phillies in 1950, a married man. And he was in top form as the Whiz Kid Phillies captured the NL pennant. And Richie had noticed opposing teams were using a creeping shift to hinder his ability to beat throws from the infield for hits.
Okay.
Because he was so fast, as we mentioned before. And he
was
made
a lefty.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And he made a veteran adjustment, borrowing one of teammate Del Ennis's heavier bats. So he'd swing later.
He'd start going the other way.
Going the other way, that's right.
Yeah.
The scheme worked, and he started off at .370.
Wow.
Slumped slightly in June, but finished at .303 while leading the National League with 14 triples.
Okay.
So he'd just send it down the left field line, I assume.
Yeah. And occasionally put one in the corner for a triple. But yeah, okay, interesting. He basically is doing what every old man tells people to do nowadays, or until the shift was banned.
Yeah. Ashburn again led the NL in putouts with 405.
Okay.
He did not perform well in the World Series, though, against the New York Yankees, going 3 for 16, as the Phillies were swept in 4 games. Though the games were close, with 3 being decided by a single run, but he summed up his disappointment with a comment he made as he turned down refreshment after the final game. Quote, I couldn't swallow a cornflake.
Hey, nice try. You made it to the World Series. You want a beer even though you lost? I couldn't swallow a corn. Whitey, that was fucking weird, man.
Couldn't swallow any bottle caps, man. Like, he's just like, I don't eat glass, buddy.
What?
What are you talking
What are you talking about?
Anyway, moving on. He had great years from 1951 through 1954, averaging .318 while leading the NL twice in hits and being named an All-Star in 51 and 53. In 1954, he had a career best 125 walks and an on-base percentage of .441.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. In 1955, Ashburn landed on the injured list before the season began after he collided with Del Ennis, the bat lender.
The bat lender, who was clearly bigger than him.
Yes. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Which ruined his 731 consecutive game streak.
Damn.
I know. He made a pretty quick return, though. He pinch hit in the 13th game. I think he also appeared in like the third game or something like that, but he must have not been ready because then he missed another 9 games or whatever. And so anyway, he pinch hit in the 13th game and then resumed playing and went on to have a memorable season. But it was the first time he failed to lead the league in putouts. He still posted an outstanding .983 fielding average, and at the plate continued to get better. By June, he led the NL and had a 17-game hitting streak, but he incredibly was not chosen for the NL All-Star team. But he shrugged it off and finished the season with a .338 average and the NL batting title.
God damn. And he's he's not hitting a lot of dingers, I'm assuming.
No. I think he only hit 29 home runs in his whole career.
Yeah, so he's a guy that can just put the ball where he wants to put the ball. He's just dropping it in front of outfielders or between infielders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. So the next 3 seasons, the Phillies themselves continued their slide, but Ashburn's play was steady with .303 and .297 finishes in 1956 and 1957. But it was one day in the 1957 season that made me decide to look into Richie Ashburn in the first place, Sean.
Oh, damn.
And it happened on August 17th, 1957. And so I got this from an account written by Hunter Doyle for PhilliesNation.com.
I think I might have used, either way. Good. Yeah, I've heard the name before.
Anyway, so here's a passage. It's a little bit long here, but anyway.
Let's read it.
Quote, Alice Roth grew up in England, but at the age of 17, she moved to the United States to care for her sister. She later married Earl Roth, sports editor of the Philadelphia Bulletin. Alice was also an avid Phillies fan, so as a result, she, Earl, and her grandsons, Preston and Tom, went to a lot of games together. On the afternoon in question, which was August 17th,
yep.
The Ross sat along the third base side at Connie Mack Stadium in North Philadelphia. Richie Ashburn came to the plate. Ashburn was well known for fighting off pitches into the stands and making opposing pitchers work.
Oh.
This day, a foul ball flew off his bat and struck Alice directly in the nose.
Oh.
As the ball rolled away into another fan's reach, Philly staff rushed to put her on a stretcher and cover her nose.
We can't let anyone see this.
We've seen this happen.
We did.
Live.
We saw
this happen in Milwaukee, and I don't know if she got hit in the nose, but she got hit in the head, and there was immediately like a pool of blood.
Oh, and the whole section had to be cleared.
They stopped the game.
It wasn't a good scene. I think she's fine. It's revived. But
yes.
So this lady and she's the sports editor's wife.
Yeah, she's like in the know of like the Phillies community. Like they're probably, oh fuck, that's Mrs. Roth.
Oh no. Someone just chirps her. Ah, keep your head up, Mrs. Roth. She's hurt.
God.
Oh shit.
So anyway, so the staff are like stretchering her.
Okay.
Up the steps.
Okay.
Right? And as she was being taken away, Ashburn was still up to bat. Yeah. And as she was being carried away, the nearly impossible happened. He hit a foul ball that struck her again. This time on the leg.
Okay, all right.
That's a little better.
A little bit better. So they got it. She's on a stretcher, and they're like,
they're carrying up there, and boom, smokes her again.
Second.
Bounces away. I imagine another fan gets the ball. Or
double
whatever.
tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of the event there.
Uh-huh.
Later that month, the Phillies made their best effort to give this is still from the article.
Yeah.
Made their best effort to give the Roths a better ballpark experience. I guess. Prior to the game, Preston and his brother had the opportunity to watch batting practice from the dugout, where the entire 1957 Phillies team autographed a baseball for them. During the game, they had the privilege of watching from the press box. When she was transferred to Montgomery Hospital, she was visited by none other than the Phillies center fielder himself.
Oh my God.
Ashburn came to visit her at the hospital several times until she went home, and even autographed a baseball specifically to her. In the years following the incident, Ashburn never missed sending her a Christmas card or a birthday card until she passed away 30 years later, a testament to Ashburn's kindness.
Oh my God. So the odds of that happening
it was 1 in 835.
And then times 2.
Yeah.
No, that's I mean, first of all, with that story, my first comment is do the Phillies and Ashburn make as big a deal about it if she wasn't the wife of this sports editor, though?
I mean,
I feel like he would have
probably not, actually. I never really thought of that angle, but yeah, possibly. Apparently, I don't have this written in here, but I'll just like
Yeah.
read quickly. So I read somewhere else that allegedly, like after the kids got like this grand treatment by the Phillies, they asked their grandma if she could go to the Eagles game and get hit by a football.
That's such a kid thing to say.
I don't know if that's actually true or not,
Oh,
but
man,
like, I couldn't corroborate that, but I read that somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. That is glorious.
Yeah.
Well, oh my god! Like, so she went to the hospital. She was clearly in the hospital for multiple days.
Yeah. But at the end of it,
insult to injury, like hitting her. I thought it was gonna hit her in the head again, and that would have been
that would have been chef's kiss. But
yeah.
No.
Like,
I mean, shitty. Don't get me wrong. It would have been shitty. But yeah, in a comedy sense, in a slapstick comedy sense.
I was wondering why you were starting with the foul ball things, and as you introduced those characters, I was like, this bitch is about to get hit with a ball.
I see this coming. I understand foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he hits her, and they develop this nice rapport, and anyway, that's a testament to Richie's.
They become friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, carrying on about Richie's career, in 1958, Ashburn broke out and won his second batting title with a .350 average, edging Willie Mays on the last day of the season with a 3-for-4 day. He led the league in hits, triples, walks, and on-base percentage. And from Seamus Kearney's amazing Sabre bio on Ashburn, here's a story as well. Quote, teammate Robin Roberts remembered that Richie's first hit that day came on a ball that bounced 50 feet in the air after hitting home plate.
Damn.
Roberts said Ashburn chortled loudly as he safely crossed first base.
Chortled?
Yeah, it means laugh. Like he chuckled to himself as he crossed first
He's
base.
like, I should do that every time.
Yeah. Richie had told Roberts before the game that for Mays to win the title, he needed to get 3 hits while Whitey went hitless.
So that one hit.
Yeah, that one hit did it. So the chortle erupted, as you can probably figure, because that odd hit practically gave Ashburn the title. And he was like, really? On that fucking hit?
That's how I win the batting title? That's awesome.
So at the end of the season, he led the league in putouts, tying Max Carey for the most seasons leading the NL in that statistic. It was only the second time in his career up to that point that he did not finish with double-digit assist totals. Ashburn's 1959 season was a huge downturn, though. All of his offensive stats fell a great deal: hits by 65, walks by 18, stolen bases by 21, and batting average by 84 points.
Oof.
Defensively, it was more of the same. His putouts declined by 136, errors rose to 11, and outfield assists dropped to 4, while his fielding percentage fell 13 points. This was obviously the worst season of his career. And this sudden downturn caused the Phillies to send Ashburn packing, and they traded him to the Chicago Cubs in December of 1959. It was a terrible trade for the Phillies, as Ashburn rebounded to have 3 good seasons, even though his speed had slowed and his outfield putouts declined all 3 years. But he was still a serviceable player. And the players that the Phillies got for Ashburn performed horribly and contributed further to their
decline. Yeah,
their de-escalation in the standings and everything. Ashburn's replacement in center field hit just .237 for the 3 years. And unfortunately for Ashburn, going to the Cubs, it wasn't really, he was okay, but it wasn't really great for him because he went there during, have you heard of this, their College of Coaches experiment?
No.
I never heard of this.
No.
This might be possibly an episode.
It sounds like it.
But to kind of, to spark notes it here, it was apparently a system of rotating a different coach to manage the Cubs every day.
Every day?
Apparently. And some of the coaches were rotated to the minors and back again.
Okay.
Which obviously wouldn't work.
No.
And when Phillie came to play the Cubs, a Philly sports writer asked Richie how he was doing, to which he quipped, quote, "Not so good. The guy who likes me is in Des Moines."
this guy's a dick, but he'll be gone tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Come and ask me then. Ashburn's last season spent as a player was on one of the most bumbling teams in baseball history. Well, I guess.
The Mets.
That's right.
Yep.
1962 Mets.
Yep.
Who went 40 and 120.
Yep, I knew it.
And I'll quote again from Kearney's Sabre article, a story that, while funny, explains Ashburn's disdain for his final season in a Mets jersey. Quote, he sent back his contract offer for 1963, unsigned. Not to get more money, but with the thought that he didn't want to go through with another season like the one he had with the lowly NL expansion team. His Mets tenure was a horrible season of improbable losses, unbelievable errors, and inept baseball manifested by the quintessential story, Yo La Tengo. The story revolved around the antics of Spanish-speaking shortstop for the Mets, Elio Chasson. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
And his penchant for frequent near collisions with outfielders. This was especially true with Ashburn on short fly balls to center field. Ashburn realized that Chasson did not understand the English warning, I have it.
Could he just hear a general? Because if you hear someone else yelling, that's someone saying they got the ball.
Well,
you don't need to know the language.
That didn't work, man. He didn't understand I have it. So he went to a bilingual Mets player and was told that Chasson would understanding the warning in Spanish, Yo la tengo.
Yo la tengo.
And that meant the fly ball was the center fielder's to catch. Soon enough, a short fly ball was hit and a backpedaling Chasson veered off, following Ashburn's admonition in Spanish.
Nice.
So it worked. What was unexpected was that the on-rushing English-only speaking left fielder Frank Thomas completely flattened Ashburn. After pulling his center fielder from the ground, Thomas asked him, "What's a yellow tango?"
Whoa.
He made the NL All-Star team again. He won the Mets' most valuable player with a batting average of .306 and won himself a boat for his efforts.
Sure.
Of which he later said, quote, to be voted the MVP on the worst team in the history of baseball is a dubious honor for sure. I was awarded a 24-foot boat equipped with a galley and sleeping facilities for 6. After the season had ended, I docked the boat in Ocean City, New Jersey, and it sank. I don't know if he's just kidding, like saying the Mets got me a shitty boat, but
yeah,
anyway.
Or if it actually sank, I don't know.
It
could have, but I mean that's he won the All-Star MVP on the losing team, so being the best on the worst is kind of that's a theme in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he made it to the World Series, but they got swept, and then he finished with the Cubs and the Mets
In a terrible era.
Oh, that's a bad ending.
Yeah.
That's a bad ending.
It gets his playing days end kind of poorly, but he accepted a broadcasting job in 1963 with the Phillies as a color guy.
Okay.
He was asked if he had been making more money with the Mets, to which Ashburn replied, "Much more," which left the askers wondering why he would quit such a well-paying job in a sport he loved and accept a much lower salary. Ashburn simply replied, "Well." So the Mets, he fucking hated the Mets.
He just hated the Mets. He's like, they got me a boat. I fucking sank it. Like, I didn't want any memories of that team. Why didn't you sell it, Richie? Well, then I would have had money.
This was much more fun.
just disdain for the Mets. Oh, it always comes back to the Mets in the end.
Ashburn had the gift of providing commentary as he parlayed this... the gift of gab providing commentary, and he parlayed this gift into a second career that spanned 35 seasons. His career as a color man enabled his voice and his personality to reach more Phillies fans in the Delaware Valley than all of his on-field heroics. Folks all over the area listened as he spoke with an infectious zest, corny humor, admirable candor, unflinching disbelief, and an understated outrageousness that endeared him to millions. He spoke his mind, and fans loved it along with his wit and humor delivered in his trademark deadpan style. Soon as aphorisms percolated through the Delaware Valley, quote, "This fellow on first looks runnerish." "It's a lead-pipe cinch that they'll bunt here." Or, "Hard to believe, Harry," among others.
Hard to believe.
I guess he must have said it in like a way that's
Hard
just
to
like,
believe, Harry.
That's hard to believe, Harry, or something. I don't
This
know. I'm not a
guy's
Phillies fan.
12
so
for his last 16.
hard to believe, Harry. That's got to be it.
Yeah, that's gotta be it.
People recognize Ashburn lighting his pipe when they would hear a match being scratched while on the air.
That's awesome.
Or they heard him puff his pipe as he piped in with another comment on something odd or good or bad during the game. Ashburn first teamed with Bill Campbell and By Sam, but his true broadcast partner became Harry Callis when Callis joined the on-air team in 1971. They clicked immediately, and the pair worked together for 27 seasons as their partnership became noted for Callis' smooth delivery of the play-by-play action and Ashburn's colorful quips, insights, and critiques. During one broadcast, he admitted that during his playing days, he slept with his bats when he was going good. And then he said, quote, "In fact, I've been in bed with a lot of old bats in my day." Ashburn also wrote a regular column for the Philadelphia Bulletin and later for the Philadelphia Daily News. Apart from his broadcasting, his columns were noted for his humor as well as his insights into sports and baseball. And Ashburn stayed married to his wife Herbie until the day he died. They had 6 children, and unfortunately, he missed every one of their births because all of them were born during the baseball season.
Well, I mean, if you're banging in the off season.
That's true.
Also, I would love to know how Herbie felt about him sleeping with the bats.
Yeah.
Honey, do you have to?
Yeah.
Just one. Just
one's
one,
fine.
maybe
No, I
tonight.
need all 6. I don't know which one's good. This is what he said about his missing his kids' births, saying, quote, "I was a miserable 0 for 6, he would quip. But he made sure to make it up with them during the off season, and he was loved by his children." However, although Whitey's love for Herbie remained strong, their marriage was not. And in 1977, after 28 years of living together, the two separated, but they didn't divorce.
Okay.
Ashburn, that's just
random fact.
The family's aside there, you know. Ashburn missed enshrinement on his first round of eligibility, never gaining enough votes for his first 15 years on the Hall of Fame ballot. But in 1995, after being relegated to the Veterans Committee in 1982, Richie Ashburn was finally inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. The first person Ashburn called was his 91-year-old mother, Tootie, who wept.
Oh.
It is generally considered that Ashburn's defensive skills got him in the Hall of Fame. Although he finished with a 308 career average.
Yeah, it sounded like he could hit singles at least.
Yeah, but I guess like people argue it because here it is. He only hit 29 home runs.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And 82% of his hits were singles.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many he actually hit. He 2,574 hits.
Yeah.
That's pretty close, though.
That's pretty good.
But in that era, I guess that's kind of... Anyway, we're not here.
He wouldn't have been on my ballot. Let's put it that way.
Anyway, he's... Yeah, I guess so. But he's on there. Anyway, his 308 is 120th in Major League history.
Well, I think if you take in, like, especially when you're looking at Veterans Committee stuff, like, you take in the whole body of work, the fact that he was a broadcast, like, he stayed in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he did.
It feels like, I mean, I don't know, it's not in his biography, so I don't think he has won it. I mean, he's passed on now, but, like, I don't think he got the Frick Award.
No.
But it sounds like he possibly deserved it.
Possibly. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Phillies fans would say that.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. I'm sure I've heard his voice because I definitely watched a lot of 1993 Phillies stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Being
No
a
doubt.
Blue Jays
Yeah,
fan.
that's true. Yeah. So he led the majors in putouts in 9 of the 10 years he played from 1949 through 1958, and he's the only outfielder in Major League history to record 4 seasons of 500-plus putouts. Despite his weak arm, he led NL outfielders in assists 3 times. Some of Ashburn's catches remain as in the best in baseball. Ashburn made a play at Forbes Field on June 20th, 1951 that led Hall of Famer George Sisler to say, quote, "I've been around Major League Baseball for 35 years. I've seen every great center fielder since Tris Speaker. I thought I had seen every sort of impossible catch, but that's the greatest piece of center fielding I ever saw anywhere by any fielder. I still don't believe it."
Damn, Sisler.
Yeah. Ashburn sometimes kept to himself, and he did so on a late summer evening in 1997 after calling a game in New York. Later that night, he reached out to a Phillies official complaining that he didn't feel well, and at 5:30 a.m. on September 9th, 1997, Ashburn was found dead in his hotel room. Oof. He was 70 years old. The city of Philadelphia, Phillies fans, and team officials, as well as other major league teams in their cities, mourned Ashburn's death. His wake at Fairmount Park's Memorial Hall drew thousands. The Phillies have honored the memory of Whitey Ashburn in Citizen Bank Park. There's a long concession-filled broad walk behind center field dubbed as Ashburn Alley, where an exciting statue of the former Whiz Kid is prominent. And the TV radio booth has been named Richie Whitey Ashburn Broadcast Booth.
Damn.
Yeah.
Don Richie
Whitey Ashburn Broadcast Booth. Yeah. Whitey Putt-Putt.
Whitey Putt-Putt. Just add it all together.
Yeah. Some years later, his son Richard spoke for thousands of Phillies fans when he said of his father, quote, "To this day, someone will tell me a story about him every day. He just blew people away, and he didn't even know he was doing it." And that's the story of Richie Ashburn's Hall of Fame life and all the amazing things he accomplished in it and all the funny things he said.
And he hit a lady twice.
That's right. It was totally inspired by the freak accident where he hit that lady twice on an August afternoon in 1957. Well, so thanks for that one, Mueller, and thanks everyone for listening there. Yeah.
Yeah, Richie Ashburn. That was a good one. That was awesome. I didn't expect you know, a random foul ball incident to, it just happened to be that dude was interesting as fuck. So, I'm still dismayed at Don and Donna. I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be the one thing I take from this episode.
They were it was like 1927. They were like, the market's about to crash. We don't have time to think about names. Just name them the same fucking thing.
We'll think of a different name later. That's what we do in this family.
That's right. They just wrote Don on the same on the piece of paper twice, and then they were like, "Fuck, we'll just add nah to that one." Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's good. No, thanks so much for bringing that story, Edsy. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. If you're wherever you're listening and however you're listening, give us a follow, give us a rating. Tell us if you have any story ideas, if you've hit anybody with a foul ball before. And
that would be very interesting.
Yeah, where can people do that, Edsy?
People could do that if they find us on Twitter at Doing Baseball and on Instagram and TikTok at Doing.Baseball. And if you want to tell me the story personally, you can tell me at Eds Do Baseball, or if you want to tell Sean personally,
I'm at Sean Do Baseball. One time when I was pitching, somebody fouled a ball off and it went through the back of a Mustang. It was like a car, not a horse.
I know. Yes. That'd be way more fucked up.
Way more fucked up. Yeah. I know that's my best foul ball story.
Okay.
That's my best.
I don't really have a foul ball story that I can think of right now.
Well, until next time, we'll have another story in 2 weeks. And I'm Sean.
And I'm Eds.
And we were doing the baseball.
Okay, bye.
It's